Well, what's interesting about Chase Merritt, we learned he's a career criminal. He's been committing crimes since the 70s. He's been in and out of jail. But the interesting thing, Don, is none of these were violent crimes. They're all petty crimes, but he did spend a lot of time in jail. And what we've learned about now, especially from seeing Randy's interview, is that he's probably classified as a sociopath.
Why do you say that?
Well, because you can see that what he's done is he deceived everybody from the beginning. He put himself as the last person to see the McStays. He put himself as to see Joseph, and he was the first one in the house. And he just, the way he lies, if you look at his words and the things that he says, he would be, and I've spoken to a lot of experts about his actions and his behaviors based on Randy's great interview, and he's one of the best liars I've ever seen. I'm going to be right up honest with you about that.
Kathy, do you agree with that? He says best liars he's ever seen and a sociopath?
Well, I'm not really qualified to do a psychological assessment of a suspect. What I focus on is the physical evidence. And I think what's ultimately going to have to happen is that the police do have some physical evidence, that there's something that was found with those skeletal remains or something that's been found in the home where supposedly this murder took place that's going to tie to this suspect.
Let's talk about the physical evidence, Kathy, because the bodies were found in 2 shallow graves in the Mojave Desert exactly 1 year ago today. How does that climate impact the preservation of the evidence?
It's a very good climate for preservation. It would tend to be very dry. A body might decompose or a body might mummify. And in a dry context like that, there's a higher probability it's going to mummify. But you're going to have better preservation in general of clothing, hair, fingernails, perhaps even soft tissue that's atrophied and mummified. So the possibility of finding physical evidence associated with that is better.
All right, Steph, let's talk about other evidence here because, you know, lots were made about the phone and the phone call. What do you think of Merritt? What do you think Merritt did with Joseph McStay's phone?
Well, we know from San Bernardino's press conference that they found incriminating evidence at the grave sites. So, you know, whether or not the phones and personal belongings of the McStay family were in those graves, we won't know. Certainly learn that information at trial. It's hard to say. It's a big area. He had lots of time to potentially clean up the crime scene. He had access in and out of the house. He would have tons of time to also get rid of any incriminating evidence, particularly the cell phones.
Do you think that the clues in the beginning were to send investigators in the wrong direction? Do you think they were planted?
Absolutely, 100%. We were told, everybody was told that, you know, the car was left at the border. We see this family going over the border, and the mistake that they made initially was they put all the eggs in one basket. They only followed that one lead. It was a crucial mistake. Whoever did this crime set it up that family went to the border and willingly crossed over the border. Then we learned, you know, months and months later that wasn't the case.
Yeah. So, Kathy, police say that the McStays died of blunt force trauma. How are they able to determine that even a year, you know, after the bodies went missing?
Well, if there's significant blunt force trauma, you're going to have fractures. You're going to find cranial fractures, for example. You're going to find perhaps defensive fractures if the arms were thrown up in order to defend yourself against an attack. So you're going to see that on the bones.
Yeah, I should have said a year after they were found. They were missing for 3 years after they went missing. So, Stephanie, Patrick McStay, or Steph, I should say, Patrick McStay told Randy Kay that he doesn't think that the Merritt could have killed 4 people, 2 adults and 2 children, on his own. Do you think that there possibly was an accomplice?
I believe, I have my opinion on that. I mean, San Bernardino is telling us that the crime happened in the house. There was blunt force trauma, and it was one person and one person alone, and they believe that to be Chase Merritt. Now, are they telling us because, A, that's the truth? Are they telling us because if somebody else is involved, they're making that person feel relaxed, they're not onto me? Or did somebody come forward with information and already make a deal? I don't know, but I believe actually he could have committed these crimes because I don't believe Joseph was actually killed in the house. I believe the rest of the family was killed in the house. I believe Joseph was killed miles and miles away when he went to initially meet Chase earlier